What's going on, guys? Today I'm back with another hat format replay review for you guys. If you're interested in sending in your hat format replays, you can go down to the video description and find all the information on how to go about sending those in. Anyways, the match I have for you today, we have Blab, who is going to be on Cyber Dragon Artifact, versus Geargia, who is going to be on a Hazy Flame Pile deck. Hopefully this will be a good match. Both very interesting decks, and I've had people request both of these style of decks before, so hopefully, again, this will be a good match, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Here, it looks like Blab will win the rock, paper, scissors and get to start this one out. Opening hands, we see Fiendish Chain, Compulse, Sanctum, Double Cyclone, and Moral Tech. So very heavy on the artifact side, not even seeing a single Cyber Dragon card. So, you know, it seems like as of right now, it is going to be more on the artifact control side. And on the other side, we see Hazy Flame Hydra, Goka, the Pyre of Malice, really cool card, Rekindling, Breakthrough Skill, and Wiretap, and here Blab will get to draw for turn, getting another copy of Fiendish Chain, so here they are just going to go and set 4 back row, keeping a little bit so they don't get potentially blown out, depending on, obviously, what Geargia would be on. Over to Geargia, who seems to have drawn a copy of Hazy Flame Cerberus. So real quick, I'll go over some of these Hazy Flame cards because it's been a little while. So Cerberus says you can normal summon this card without tributing, but its original attack becomes 1,000. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 Hazy Flame card from your deck to your hand. And then Hydra over here says your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. You cannot special summon monsters except fire monsters, and an Xyz monster that was Xyz summoned using this card as Xyz material gains this effect. When this card is Xyz summoned, you can target 1 Hazy Flame monster in your graveyard, attach that target to this card as Xyz material. Now, Goka is also a very cool card. It says if you control a fire monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. When you do, target a fire monster you control, destroy that target, and then during each of your standby phases, special summon 1 fireball token with a bunch of stats, and then you contribute a fire monster to make it gain some attack. So just kind of like a fire extender. So here, it looks like Geargia is going to normal summon that copy of Cerberus, and after that, they're going to take some time to think, go to battle phase, and try to swing in for 1,000. Blab is going to activate that Sanctum, though, and summon a copy of Moral Tech, use the effect, and pop the Cerberus. Obviously, Moral Tech doesn't target, and anyways, Cerberus here is going to search a copy of Hazy Glory. This card's pretty cool. It says you can normal summon Hazy Flame monsters for 1 less tribute, and you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, target a Hazy card in your graveyard, except Hazy Glory, and add it to your hand. So really cool card there, being able to get back your resources. Here it looks like main phase 2, they're going to set 3 back row over to Blab, who gets a copy of Ignition, and here Blab's just going to go to battle phase and poke in for a bit of damage before setting a couple more back row and back over to Geargia, but actually it looks like in end phase, Hazy Glory is going to be flipped face up, just activating it here, and Geargia will then draw for turn, getting a copy of Flamevel Fire Dog, a classic, and here they will normal summon Hydra without a tribute via the Glory, and go to battle phase and try to run over that copy of Moral Attack, but Blab is going to activate Double Cyclone, going after, I believe that was their set Moral Attack, and one of the other back row here. So hitting the Breakthrough Skill, so a very good hit there, especially with this Moral Attack coming back here. And it looks like Ignition is actually going to be chained to, I'm guessing, the Moral Attack effect, or maybe that was all in the chain, but they were just confirming it went through. And here setting a copy of Scythe and hitting a copy of Wiretap. Here the Moral Attack is summoned and using the effect here to pop that copy of Hydra, really keeping Geargia off of monsters. And in main phase 2, Rekindling is going to be able to activate to special summon fire monsters from the graveyard with 200 defense, but they are banished during the end phase, but they probably won't get to that depending. So here summoning Hydra and Cerberus. After that, it looks like Geargia is going to special summon Goka, the Pyre of Malice. And from here, Blab's just reading it. The Goka's going to use the effect to pop the Cerberus here, and then Cerberus is going to trigger to add a copy of Hazy Flame Puritan. This one is really good. It's basically like a double lone fire by tributing itself and discarding a fire monster. So pretty cool. And then it looks like after that, Geargia is going to overlay into a copy of Hazy Flame Basilitrice. This card is also really cool. And also, I'm guessing this Hydra is going to trigger to be able to attach an extra material to the Basilitrice. And this card says, once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, target one monster your opponent controls, or in their graveyard, banish that target. This card gains effects based on the number of Xyz material attached to it, 3 or more. This card gains 200 attack and defense for each Xyz material attached to it. 4 or more, this card cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. And then 5, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. So a pretty strong card there. And here it looks like Blab is reading it, and there's some thinking going on. They say it's good, and after that, Basilitrice is attempting to activate. I believe they were attempting to use the Hydra because it gives the effect to Basilitrice. And even over here, they are saying that they are attempting to do that, but the Fiendish Chain is going to activate on it. And from here, they're just going to pass over to Blab, who actually gets a Fire Hand. So again, still not seeing any Cyber Dragon cards, and actually, now that I think about it, they are on the hands in the main deck, so it's actually Cyber Dragon artifact hands, okay? And from here, they're going to overlay into a copy of Volcasaurus, use the effect, get rid of that Basilitrice, inflict some damage, go for Gaia Dragon, normal summon Fire Hand. And that is probably just going to wrap this one up just about here, which it is. So moving on into game number 2, kind of funny that Blab took that without any of the Cyber Dragon cards, but here we do already see more of that, and hopefully we'll get a good showing from Geargia as well. So opening hands, we see Cyber Dragon Core, Torrential, Ice Hand, Fire Hand, and Cyber Network. And on the other side, we see Artifact Madolche, Rekindling. This is at 1 in the format, and they have seen it like both games. Pretty crazy. Onslaught, which unfortunately isn't great. Going first, Hazy Cerberus, and Double Cyclone. So I'm wondering if they were actually... they do have the artifacts in the deck. I'm wondering if it's sided or mained. I'm not entirely sure here, but here they do get to draw for turn, getting another copy of Moraltech. Not really what you want to see, but, you know, at least they have Double Cyclone to get rid of one of them. This, however, probably will be a pretty simple turn for them. Here they're going to normal summon that Cerberus and then just set 3 back row over to Blab, who gets a copy of Fiendish Chain. And from here, they are going to summon the copy of Ice Hand, and Geargia says it's good and try to attack over that Cerberus, which is going to work. Cerberus is then going to add a copy of that Periton. And from here, going to main phase 2 and setting 2 back row. Here, Geargia is going to use that Double Cyclone and hit the Cyber Network as well as the Moraltech. Moraltech is going to summon and pop the Ice Hand, and here Ice Hand is going to trigger to pop the other back row, and here they are hitting the Moraltech, and the Ice Hand is floating into Fire Hand. Moraltech is going to be summoned, and they are not going to use the effect of the Moraltech, obviously, because at this rate, they wouldn't be able to make a rank 5 if they had wanted to. And real quick for Cyber Network, I just want to go over this real quick. Destroy this card during your 3rd standby phase after activation. Once per turn, if a Cyber Dragon is on the field, you can banish 1 light machine monster from your deck. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, special summon as many of your banished light machine monsters as possible, and if you do, destroy all spell and trap cards you control. Monsters that were special summoned by this effect cannot activate their effects, and you cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. So just a cool card. Usually, I believe it would trigger. I'm not, given that they didn't have anything banished and they already went to their battle phase, it wouldn't be able to trigger there, however, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, back to the game here. It looks like Geargia is going to go for a copy of Pleiades, use the effect, and going after that back row, which Blab is going to allow here. And after that, tributing for that copy of Periton, using Periton to tribute itself and discard the Cerberus to summon a copy of Hydra and Hydra. Now, this is where it's going to get a little out of control, if I'm guessing here, given that they would be able to make a really big Basilitrice. Also, these are dinosaurs, so they could go for something like a Solda, as well as just having stuff like Rekindling is very strong here as well. So here, there's going to be a bit of thinking. Rekindling is going to be activated here. bringing back the Cerberus and Cerberus. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, the Puritan has more attack, and also, let me just double check, its summoning conditions cannot be special summoned except by a Hazy Flame monster effect. So even if it had 200, they wouldn't have been able to summon it there. But moving ahead, they are just going to go to battle phase, run over the Cerberus, and obviously the reason this Fire Hand isn't using its effect is all of these cannot be targeted by opponents' card effects. So that basically the Fire Hand can't target to destroy, so just swinging in for a lot of damage here. And let's see what happens in main phase 2. They are going to overlay all 4 into, oh, maybe not, a little bit of misclicks there. Probably a big decision here on what they actually choose to go into. Here you see they are thinking, so they are going to go for the Solda. And here they use the Solda in quotes because of the Hydra to attach an extra material, and then overlaying into a copy of Photon Strike Bouncer. So Solda, real quick, says cannot be destroyed by card effects while it has Xyz material, and when your opponent special summons a monsters, except during the damage step, you can detach a material from this card, destroy that monster or monsters. And obviously, Photon Strike Bouncer negates monster effects, and it inflicts 1,000 damage. It does not, however, destroy the monster, so that is something important to note as well. It'll be very interesting to see what Blab can actually do here. Here they draw into a copy of Cyber Dragon Dry, and they are just going to set Fire Hand, set 2 back row. Over to Geargia, who gets a copy of Fencing Fire Ferret. I really like this card. And it's basically like a Fire Hand almost that just doesn't float into anything and does 500 damage. So between, the Fire Ferret if it's destroyed, as well as the Strike Bouncer if they negate an effect, that will just be game here. But let's see how they choose to navigate this. Here, just going into a copy of Gaia Dragon, which will be able to steal the game, but here we see the Torrential. So unfortunately, that is not going to work. Solda isn't destroyed because it has material. Fencing Fire Ferret is going to be summoned. And here we go into a game number 3. Again, not really seeing much of the Cyber Dragon side of things, really just seeing the hand control and the artifacts. But let's see what happens here. Going into game 3, opening hands, we see Moral Attack, Sanctum, Cyber Dragon, Double Cyclone, and Core. So seeing the Double Cyclone plus the Core is very good for the Cyber Dragon side of things. And on the other side, we see Breakthrough, Skill, Warning, DD Crow, Cerberus, and DD Crow. And here Blab draws into a copy of Ignition, even better. Here summoning the copy of Core and adding that copy of Network. After that, gonna take a second to think, and they are setting for back row yet again. Over to Geargia, who gets a copy of Sanctum. They will normal summon the Cerberus, go to battle phase, and try to run over that copy of Core. But it looks like Blab is going to activate that Ignition, popping the copy of Moral Attack and setting another Moral Attack. Moral Attack will then attempt to activate, but Crow is going to meet that. And here Cyber Network is activated to banish the copy of Cyber Dragon. And I just want to double check on this. I believe you can't conduct your battle phase the turn you activate the effect when it's destroyed. So you should still be able to banish here, given that they have a Cyber Dragon, because Core is treated as Cyber Dragon. Let me just quickly, you can banish and banish. You cannot conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this effect. Yeah, so they should be good there. And anyways, the Cerberus is still attacking over that copy of Core. Main phase 2 setting 3 over to Blab, who gets a copy of Ice Hand. Here they are going to banish the Core to summon a Cyber Dragon. And yeah, a lot of people tend to forget that that has that effect, which can be pretty annoying. Ice Hand is then normal summoned. Geargia says it's good. Ice Hand is going to attack over the Cerberus. Cerberus can then trigger to get a copy of Periton. From here, Cyber Dragon is going to attack in, and Geargia was thinking for a second, maybe thinking on that Sanctum, but instead they're going to use it in the end phase, summoning a copy of Moral Attack and using the effect. And are they going to go after Network, or it looks like Network is chained to banish a copy of Dry, which this has the ability when it's banished. If this card's banished, you can target a Cyber Dragon you control. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. This turn, here popping the copy of Cyber Dragon. I believe this would activate on a different chain or whatever. If this card's banished, you can, yeah, it would be a separate chain. I guess maybe they were thinking if they wanted to pop the Network there, which There's almost a reason to, given how that played out, but at the same time, you don't want to risk if, you know, there's multiple artifacts or anything along those lines. But it was during Blab's turn, if I'm not mistaken, and they had gone to battle phase. So honestly, maybe popping the network would have been good, because now if this is destroyed later on, they wouldn't be able to float into everything. There's really a lot of chances to, you know, make decisions like that. What was their other back row? It's warning and breakthrough. So maybe they were thinking for the warning for this, but I'm not entirely sure right there. Moving along though, let's see what Geargia chooses to do here. Switching the moral tech to defense, setting another back row, and Blab is thinking here they're going to go double Cyclone, popping their own copy of Network and going after the new set, and then here Network is going to trigger, but that is going to meet the warning, so that is what Geargia was thinking here, and here Blab gets another copy of Network, and they don't have a way to pop it currently, but it looks like they're just going to set 2 and over to Geargia, who gets a copy of Onslaught. They are going to go to battle phase and force out this copy of Ice Hand, which they say is good. Ice Hand is going to pop the breakthrough skill and summon a copy of Fire Hand, so Geargia is really trying to just be aggressive here. And anyways, it looks like Sanctum is going to be activated, going for a copy of Beagle Tech, and then pop that copy of Moral Tech. Moral Tech will then be able to trigger here. They're taking a second to think. I have to read just to make sure. What are they doing here? Was that a misclick, or why did the network there? Network is mandatory. That's why it's chain link 1. Okay, continuing on. Oh, did they... Wait, oh, they were popping both. Okay, so they were popping both off the Beagle Tech that was set. Okay, I see what was going on there. And because this is on Geargia's turn. So, okay, the DD Crow is going to banish the Moral Tech there, and then the Network is going to trigger that blows up all the back row and summons as many Cyber Dragons as possible from Banished. Okay, just had to get back on track there, and here drawing a copy of Ignition for turn. And now it looks pretty bad for Geargia, who Blab just goes to battle phase, runs in, and the Fire Hand's going to pop the Moral Attack, float into a copy of Ice Hand, and this is enough damage to just end the game here, and yep, that is game. So Blab takes it with the Cyber Dragon Artifact Hands deck. Again, we didn't really see much of it in the first game and a little bit in the second game, but either way, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it, comment any questions or videos you want to see in the future, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to go down to the video description to find out how you can send in your hat format replays. Whether you won or lost, if you thought the deck you or your opponent was playing was pretty cool, feel free to send that in. I'm sure a lot of people would love to see it. But anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video.